Okay, so as I mentioned in the last video, I sold the Cefiro, I sold the Subaru. It was time for something new. I'm the type of person, I can't not own a car. I have to have one. So yeah, it didn't take very long before this was in the garage. Mitsubishi Evo 9, 2005. It's a JDM import. So the steering wheel's on the right side. Yeah, it's in white too. I've always loved white cars. People that know me have known that all my cars have been white in the past. I think the Cefiro is the first non-white car I've owned in like 20 years or something. So yeah, but basically this is my dream car. A lot of people probably thought GTRs were my dream car. I love them, they're cool. But Mitsubishis have kind of always had a special place in my heart. If you rewind back about 20 something years ago, I was doing my apprenticeship to be a mechanic. Now, unfortunately, I gave that up. I went along the graphic design route and traveled and everything. But when I was doing my apprenticeship, I actually worked at Mitsubishi. And I worked there in 2004 and 2005, and I worked for Mitsubishi Toowong. I don't know if that's still there. I haven't been to Australia in quite a while, but yeah, Mitsubishi Toowong was a rally art dealer. So they actually got in the Evo 9s, and that was when I was working there. So it was kind of special for me because the cars, when the Evo 9s first came in, they were brought in on the boat, they were transported on a truck to Toowong, and then it was me that actually drove 5 of them, the only ones that they got, I believe, off the truck. So I was driving them off the truck and driving them into the dealership, and I was just like shaking. I was absolutely just like stoked. I remember ringing my dad after it and telling him that I'd just driven like 5 Evo 9s. It's not like I drove them far. I drove them maybe 20 meters and they literally had no fuel in the tanks or anything. But back then I was just like, this is my dream car. One day I'm going to own one of these. At that time, I had no money. I was driving a little Honda Civic EG sedan with like faded clear coat paint and everything. But yeah, I thought one day I'm going to own an Evo 9, and that day has finally come. So yeah, let's talk about this car. It's a Japanese import. Now, what is interesting is it's got Swedish number plates. So it was imported into Sweden back in 2014. So I have the full import papers on this car and everything. So I kind of know the history and everything on it. It was like a grade 4 auction thing, whatever that means. It has a lot of good information on there that it had no rust, it was a no accident damage. Now in Sweden it's had maybe a few things done with it. If you look at the import photos of it, it looks like it's either got advans or some other wheels on it. Someone has changed over to rotors. Yeah, so not a huge fan of that. They will be going. Especially because they're on spacers as well, which is kind of odd. I'm not too sure of the specs of these wheels, but I'll take them off one day and have a look at that. Another thing, someone has swapped over to Evo 7 taillights. These are the red Evo 7 ones. So I kind of get that because I like the Evo 7 ones, the red, but I would prefer to bring them back to the OEM Evo 9, the black chrome ones. It's been debadged as well. Even on spoiler, now it's got a little bit of the faded clear coat on the carbon, which isn't too uncommon for these, so that'll be a little bit project of mine to fix that up. Other modifications on the car: HKS, high power, silent exhaust, which is actually really good, not too loud, but just offers that like nice sound, especially when you get under boost on the car. Let's check out the interior. So yeah, interior is all pretty much standard, all nice and clean as well. Like it's definitely been looked after in its ownership, which is awesome. The seats are just perfect. All the door trims, the dash and everything is good as well. Steering wheel's still the same. It's got a Razzo gear knob on there. Fire extinguisher down here. It's got the rally art floor mats as well. But a few other modifications are also done in Japan. The DeFi link display setup with the controller down here. So this has oil pressure, engine coolant temp and engine oil temp as well, plus the boost gauge, and it's got a HKS boost controller as well. Once again, being one of the later Evos, it's got the ACD, the active center diff control as well, so you control the tarmac, gravel and snow setting as well. And thankfully all that's working, because I know that is a problem on Mitsubishis. But one other little thing too, it's got this like I'm not too sure what brand it is, whether it's Cusco, but that like power brace thing in there as well. So let's have a look under the bonnet. Mitsubishi's famous 4G63 Evo 9, so it's the MyVec version as well. Looking over it, one other thing you'll notice, Cusco Zero coilovers with the camber top adjustment as well, so another cool modification. That was also done in Japan. G-Ready intercooler, G-Ready intake, and then this nasty little business right here. So, what we believe is the first owner in Sweden had the exhaust manifold crack, and he's put this on there. So, tubular manifold, it's got a G-Ready external gate and Mitsubishi TD05 turbo. Now that's good, it offers a bit more power, but this is going to cause some problems, which I'll talk about. And then Mishimoto, I believe, radiator. One other thing I should say, like before I bought it, the car had a full service done on it. So it had the timing belt, all the oils, all the belts, everything changed in the car. I've got the receipts of that. It was very, very expensive. So that's kind of good peace of mind to know that. Yeah, as I mentioned, there's going to be a few complications with this car, and this is the problem. So the car is registered in Sweden. I'm Australian, I live in Norway. So yeah, we have to try and get this car approved to drive it in Norway. And the modifications on this car are going to make that difficult. The wheels and tires, they're actually in the Swedish paperwork, so that's okay, but the spacers are a no-no, so that's got to go. I have to get some proper fitting 18s on there. The exhaust is going to be hard. I doubt very much the Norwegian authorities are going to like that. I'll have to maybe find an OEM one. And then this will all have to be put back to standard, which is something I want to do anyway. I want to put the standard manifold and standard turbo and everything on there. Basically, goals for this car, I want to try and return it back to OEM as much as possible, but just with some nice, clean modifications on the car. I don't want anything too crazy. It's enough power for me as it is, and as I mentioned in the last video, I don't want any trouble from police and other authorities. I'm too old for that. So one other little problem with the car, one reason why I kind of got it cheaper as well, was this crack. When the owner was driving it from Norway into Sweden, from Sweden back into Norway, this happened. So that's one of the first things that's going to have to be changed, and that'll have to change for the Norwegian inspection as well, because I doubt they're going to like that. So yeah, things need to be done to pass the Norwegian inspection as far as I know. Wheels and tires, exhaust, the turbo setup, the coilovers, windshield. 5 things. If that's it, that's my new car. I'm super stoked. As I said, it's my dream car. It sucks I can't really drive it. Today's actually the last day I can drive it on the Swedish plates. That's why I had to film this video. After that, it's going to go back in the garage, and then the work begins on this thing and trying to get it approved for Norway. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, once again, we're coming into winter here, so I needed a winter project, something to keep me busy, something to keep me sane during the long, cold, dark winters here, and this is it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Obviously, this car is not as rare, it's not as unique as a Cefiro or anything. I understand that, but I'm super stoked. I finally got one. I got it before they were getting too expensive, because I'm watching the prices of these, and they've been skyrocketing, especially in Australia. So yeah. Here it is, my white 2005 Mitsubishi Evo 9. Stay tuned for more updates, more modifications on this beautiful car. Thanks for watching. Peace.